welcome to day 1, which is going to be about fundamental classes. Now this is very important to get your basics right, and before we get into it, let me first introduce you to all the art supplies that we need. Let's get started with the surface first. So this is acrylic painting paper. You can always use this. The only difference between this and an ordinary drawing paper is the thickness. Because of its thickness, we can easily blend the color and use more amount of water. So this is very useful when you're using acrylic paints. So next option would be the sketchbook. Now what I have done is I have pasted this acrylic painting paper on top of it because the paper was very thin. So that is something that you can always do. You can actually just paste these acrylic painting paper on any sheet and use them for painting. Now what it does is that you can always have a record of all your paintings and you can also see your progress. So these kind of sketchbooks are really handy and useful. And now let's talk about canvases. So this is a stretched canvas. This is a canvas cloth which is mounted on top of a wooden beading. And this is how it looks like. You can also use a canvas board. This is again a canvas fabric which is pasted on top of a hardboard, and these are inexpensive and great to be used for beginner paintings. Let me also share with you the difference between medium grain and a fine grain canvas. You can see here this canvas has a lot of pores and has a rough texture. But just have a look at this fine grain linen canvas. This is super smooth and it has a great finish in case you plan to paint your original paintings. So I'll highly recommend using a fine grain canvas for all your future artworks. And now moving on to brushes. So you can see this is a round brush. So these are most common brushes and I'm sure you must have seen them a lot. And they come in different sizes, and as a beginner you don't need a lot of them. You just need limited and good quality brushes. But the only thing you have to remember is that they should be soft on the top and also have strong stiff bristles. Otherwise, they would not be able to give you the kind of desired effect that you're looking forward to. Also, having these 3 sizes would be enough for you, like a larger one, medium one and a smaller one. And here we also have some flat brushes. Again, you can have them of different sizes, a larger one, a medium one and a smaller one. And this will be able to help you in the entire paintings as a beginner. You can also think of adding a palette knife to your collection. This will help you in color mixing, at the same time help you in adding certain beautiful textures to your painting later. Even though this course is an absolute beginner course, but still I thought let me just introduce you with the names of all the different kinds of brushes. So this is a very common flat brush, and here we have a blending brush. This is also called as a bright brush. It is great for blending and one of my favorite brushes. At the same time, it just has smaller bristles as compared to a flat brush. And then we have this filbert brush. Again, the top area is curved. It's amazing for creating beautiful blends. I love using it in all my portraits. And then you have the simple round brush. You must be knowing this already. And this one is called an angular brush. As you can see, this has a steep diagonal cut there. It also helps you in coloring, at the same time creates those beautiful cuts and corners. And this one is called a dagger brush. It just has longer bristles, as you can see, but again it's similar to an angular brush. It does has that diagonal cut to it. And then you have this brush which is called a cat's tongue brush. This is also very beautiful. As you can see, it has a pointed tip, so it tackles all the corner ends where the brush can't reach, but at the same time it also helps you in filling the color. And then you have this liner brush for all the detailings, and then this rigger brush which is amazing for creating those fine lines and those beautiful texture in the painting. So this was about the kinds and types of brushes. Now let me also share with you what are the brushes that you should never buy or consider while you're choosing the right ones for yourself. Like for example, this one. As you can see, the bristles are not straight. They are, just going everywhere, and as you can see, it is not stiff at all. It does not have a top end right. That is called the chisel end. So this is something that you should always avoid and rather choose this kind of flat brush. As you can see, it has a good tip. The bristles are all straight, and this will help you in blending and mixing the colors evenly and properly. Similarly, as you can see, this kind of old brushes that you have, you can always avoid them for doing any kind of color mixing or blending, of course, because of the bristles, and they have lost their movement absolutely. So you can always use this kind of small flat brushes which are smooth and have great tip. And now you can also see this kind of round brush. It just does not have a pointed tip. It's not able to give you that kind of movement. At the same time, the bristles are extremely soft. They don't have a direction, so this is also something that you should always avoid. using this kind of brush will never give you the kind of results that you aim at. So in case you want to ever buy any fine liner brush, you can always think of using this one. So sometimes it's not us, but the brushes that are wrong. And one tip here would be never discard your old brushes. They are absolutely amazing and turn into magic wands because they will help you in creating beautiful texture and all those effects that a normal brush can't. So every brush has its own beautiful different role to play. In case you don't have this kind of old flat brushes to create those beautiful amazing texture, you can always add acrylic paints on top of an inexpensive brush that you want to discard or you don't use it, and you can also convert it for creating different beautiful texture. And in case you wish to know what are my favorite brushes, then I love using these filbert and flat brushes from Brustro and these beautiful blending, these dagger and angular brush from Artificial's brand. I believe they are extremely affordable and they have amazing quality. Now let's talk about the acrylic paints. So this is a basic beginner painting set. They come in form of bottles and they have a flowy consistency and they are great for beginner paintings. You can always give them a try. And the second type would be these tube paints. They are thick in consistency but they have slow drying process, meaning that they dry slowly as compared to the bottled ones because of the cost and because of the quality. So you can always use them, and later if in case you want to upgrade, you can always use these Winsor & Newton ones that I use now. So what you can do is just add a white tube paint to your collection. This will help you in many things, for example to thicken down the paint at the same time for creating beautiful textures on the painting. So you can think of adding this to your collection. And now moving on to the color palette. So you can always use a ceramic color palette or a basic plastic one. I'll recommend as a beginner, you can always use any steel plate or any surface that you really don't want. The reason being, you don't have to invest in all these art materials as a beginner. You can just get started on a steel plate as well, or in case later you want to invest, you can buy a palette like this or even ceramic plates. They're very easy to clean. Alright, now let me introduce you to varnishes. So you can use this Amsterdam liquid gloss varnish, or in case you can also give this Liquitex a try. This is amazing. The only difference is in their consistency. This is just like an oil base, it will look like that, and this one will have a milky consistency just like this, but it dries clear. So you'll have that clear transparent layer when it dries, and this is very important for creating a protective layer to your painting. So this is it. This was a basic introduction to art supplies. So I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care and thanks for watching. Bye.